And now to talk to us about all things recycling is Brent Bell, President of Waste Management Recycling Services. Brent, we know you'll be speaking to the full forum crowd this afternoon. Give us a preview.
Yeah, they were great. So I'll give you a preview. First of all, that was a great session. It's going to be really hard for me to follow that session.
Tough act to follow.
I do think we've got some interesting topics lined up. We're going to talk about contamination. We're going to talk about some hard to recycle plastics, like some good stories around that. And then we're also going to talk about what we're doing at Waste Management with recycling programs and education and technology. And so I think we've got some good videos in store for us that will kind of try to liven up. It won't just be me speaking for 30 minutes straight. We'll have some videos in between. So it should be a great session.
Mm-hmm. When you look at the year ahead, I mean, we've been through a lot of change in 2017, 2018. As you look at the year ahead, what are you most excited about?
Yeah,
What's the opportunity?
I think some of the exciting things we're seeing now really is coming from the technology side. We're going to focus heavy on education and technology in 2018, but the advancements we're seeing in technology is just really amazing, from robotics to other facilities that can process materials more efficiently than ever before. With all the quality standards that our customers are putting on us now, whether that's China or even a customer in Louisiana, then our goal is to make sure we make the best quality we can with the material that we receive every day, and we're finding that technology is really helping out with that.
So investing in the newest technologies to clean up recycling so that the materials can actually be made into those end products. Exactly.
Get the best products for our customers so that they can use that material and make new products for the consumers to use.
So speaking of cleaning up recycling, that is a term that is everywhere right now. I mean, you can go on Twitter and go cleaning up recycling, and it's there. For the average person at home, for the educator, for the student who wants to get involved, what can someone just do from their home to help clean up recycling to be a part of the solution?
Yeah, so Waste Management has a great program called Recycle Often, Recycle Right. RORR.com is the website. You can get a lot of information that you could either print out labels to stick on your recycling bin so you know whether acceptable items that go in those programs. Education is a big part of it. We start with the youth, trying to get kids coming into our education centers. We have those at some of our recycling facilities across the U.S. And by the busfuls, we try to bring in children so they can be educated, go home, help their parents really learn how to recycle at home, and then at businesses as well is what we're trying to target. So really just help out with education programs. It's not that people really are trying to put the wrong stuff in, they just don't know what the right things are to recycle.
Well, it's because as a society, we want to do the right thing, right? We want to recycle, but it's just learning what should be recycled.
The right items are really the key nowadays, and so we're really trying to focus heavily on those.
So if you had to give people that one item to recycle or to not recycle, what would it be?
Yeah, so what we try to make it simple, because recycling programs are confusing because they all accept different material, but we say every program in the US, North America, accepts cardboard, paper, bottles, and cans. So at the simplest format, those all have great markets, they're very simple to understand, and that's usually what we try to say. Let's simplify recycling first, get that right, then maybe later on we can expand into other materials.
Mm-hmm. I think the simplicity of recycle often, recycle right is the power of it. So for our live stream audience, that's recycleoftenrecycleright.com. Lots of great resources there to use in schools and communities. And it's very basic. It's not as complicated as sometimes recycling feels like it is. Our live stream audience today includes recycling managers from cities and counties, a lot of regulators, and people in leadership roles in community organizations who want to make sure that their local recycling systems stay healthy.
Yeah.
What's your advice for them for a healthy, sustainable local?
Yeah, so the one thing we've pushed for years on is the recycling rate to increase, right? So for more people to put more items, how can I increase my tonnage? You hear a lot of municipalities come up with diversion goals that they want to have. What we don't hear a lot of is on the pull side, the demand side. And so when you're in an environment today where commodity prices for, say, cardboard are relatively low, we just need to get that demand side up. In order to do that, what we do is encourage manufacturers to use recycled content in the products they're creating. So the folks at home, encourage your brands, your favorite buying habits to have recycled content when you purchase those items off the shelf.
You want to get the demand up for recycled
the demand up, that's
products.
Right.
And nowadays they make all sorts of items, right? From clothing,
everything,
shoes.
Yes.
So you heard it.
We're at time, Brent.
Okay,
It's all
thank
about
you very
demand.
much.
Yeah, good luck with your
Thank you so
presentation.
much. We look forward to it.
A super fun part of the WMPO is the conversation that happens on social media. Part of it's about waste reduction, part of it's about golf, and the fun experience that the WMPO is. One of the voices this year is Kathryn Kellogg, a social media journalist whose personal path to this intersection of sustainability and wellness is unique. Could you talk to us about that? How did you get where you are as a zero waste blogger?
Of course. So when I was 20, I actually had a breast cancer scare, and for me, it just turned my entire world upside down. I realized that I was part of the system, and I realized that what I consumed affected me, and I'd never thought about it before. So my beauty products, cleaning products, even plastic, a lot of these things contain endocrine disruptors, which interfere with our hormones. And so I started trying to slowly make these changes. And when I moved to California, it was the first time I had really seen a litter problem, and I kind of saw all the plastic and all the trash, and I saw it on the streets. And for the first time, it clicked for me that the changes I was making for my personal health weren't only beneficial to my personal health, but also to the health of the planet.
Mm-hmm. And your followers, I would imagine that you have a lot of millennial followers. Are they as educated as we would want them to be? I mean, how are they getting their information, and what are they doing with it in terms of sustainability?
I absolutely think so.
We know they're on social media.
Yes.
Are they drinking it in and doing something with it?
I absolutely think so. I mean, my followers are so impassioned when it comes to waste. You know, I was wearing my lanyard earlier today and took a picture with it, and they're like, well, what are they going to do with the lanyards? I mean, that's how far they're thinking for the zero waste event, which is great. I told them they're going to be collected. Last night at the event, they collected them, which is awesome. And so I'm
using them again today.
Yes.
Everything's being reused.
So I know that they are so passionate about it, and they want to learn so much. And I think one of the tricky parts about sustainability is nothing is black and white. It's not like this is sustainable or this isn't sustainable. It's this kind of field of just grayness and constantly learning new things. Like, I learned so much today at the panels, and I can't wait to share it. And hopefully, my only hope is that everyone's very receptive to listening to new information.
Mm-hmm. So you're here, you're an influencer, people are following. We read one of your posts about golf.
Yes.
Oh my God, it connected it. So back to the Waste Management Phoenix Open. You're going to be out there, right? You're going to be blogging, Instagramming.
Absolutely. Yes.
What connected you to our event?
So I actually was a golfer. Yeah. So I grew up playing the sport of golf, and for me, it was one of my first touch points into sustainability. It was one of the first ways for me to spend a whole bunch of time in nature. I spent time with my dad. That was kind of how we bonded. And so it was one of those things where I hope that maybe this will be a touch point for other people, so they'll start thinking about, nature and ecosystems, because for me, that was one of the first places I really got to thinking about those things.
You know, Kathryn, our panel discussion this afternoon is about cities of the future, and a lot of city leaders are working on strategies to engage young people in their community. You know, they want young people to be invested, to be active. What advice would you have as a social media influencer whose followers are in that generation set?
Well,
what advice would you have for city leaders?
You know, I actually volunteer with my city on a board that's also working on education. That's our main goal, is educating the citizens of the community. And we're working in schools. High school is definitely a place that we're targeting about spreading this information. And right now, I think there's so many amazing apps on the phone, that are engaging in litter pickup and data collection and trying to drive them. And so I'm hoping that through technology and through these social sharing apps, that we'll be able to inspire more people to take part in cleaning up their communities.
Okay, so think about how cities can use technology to engage young people.
And that's something, we're going to be discussing cities of the future, and that's a big part of it later this afternoon.
I'm so
using
excited.
Technology. So thank you so much for spending time with us. We're really excited to have you. Can't wait to see what you post.
Thank you for your good work
today.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
National League of Cities, tell us first your mission. What is it that you do?
We represent the 19,000 cities, towns, and villages in America, no matter what the size, from New York down to Two-Egg, Florida. And we are the advocacy group for them in Washington, D.C., and we provide best practices and solutions for city leaders to make their communities better.
Good summary. And you were a mayor yourself.
Yeah.
So you know what it takes
Yeah, I was. And
Do you miss it?
sometimes I do. When I don't get the honorable invites anymore. But you know, the one thing I still get a chance to do in my job is to really help people. And that's what I did as mayor from my hometown of South Bay, Florida. And now I get a chance to help the nation in my job.
Clarence, let's talk about recycling. Recycling in this country has been remarkably successful over the last 50 years. At the heart of it all are these local programs at the city level. There's been a lot of change with recycling. There's a lot of conversation about it. What are you hearing from cities right now? What are cities doing?
I think city leaders are now at a point where they felt like they've made awareness and they've promoted the program and the need for it in terms of their communities and making it more sustainable. But now it is more than just putting it in the right bin. It is how do you really transform and create an economy around this movement. That's what we're calling it, a movement. They're challenged though because they got so many things that they have to balance as it relates to you know, their budget, police services, parks, and all of those issues. And then there is sustainability. Then there is transformation. And I think that in a way, leaders may be struggling to really get and measure the change that they're seeing. They are committed, they recognize the need. However, I do think there's a lot more work that we need to do with the public and private sector and not-for-profit communities.
And now, there's been a lot of talk about smart cities and all of that. How would you define the movement within cities right now, within the concept of smart cities?
Yeah, that's a good question. The first thing we recognize that the world is changing, solutions are changing, the manner in which you resolve problems are changing, and data is key. Being able to know where people are, where the services need to be delivered, and how you use data to actually validate that there is an issue is essential. So we're seeing city leaders use the concept and technologies of data to really go in and dig into real issues. It's like a citizen coming up, we have this issue in this community. And then when you look at the data, you actually say it's worse off in this zone and not that zone. So it's getting smarter. It's using the tools that we have in a more efficient way. And I think that when we really attack our issues based upon data, we'll become a lot more effective and efficient in dealing with all the issues that city leaders are dealing with. I can also say that every city, no matter the size, wants to be a smart city. And they want everybody to recognize that they are. Because if you're not a smart city, you're not able to attract the greatest businesses. You're not able to attract the bright leaders for the future.
Yeah.
Because do you want to go back home to a community that is the same place that you left when you went away to college? I
It's
would
about
say
opportunity
no.
and
It's
livability.
It is. Our rural and small communities are probably struggling with that because they don't have the finances to invest in the software and the movement of the smart cities. But we're tackling it. It's something that we're talking about, especially in transportation. I'm excited about it.
And hopefully some of those rural cities can learn from other cities, you know, and not make the same mistakes and achieve goals that are meaningful without some of the extra costs that some of the larger cities incur because they're doing a lot of different things.
Yeah, and you can also think about it in a regional sense. I mean, you know, you even look at waste services and programs around that. You know, if you're in a region of small cities, perhaps you join together and
regional
to work
model
to solve those issues. And we really appreciate what Waste Management is doing in this area and the partnership with cities all over America, because we can't do it alone. We need to be able to partner.
Cities are important to us.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Nice
for your
to
time.
meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Thank you for your
Look forward
time.
to the
Thank
discussion
you.
this afternoon. Amy Fowler is a city council member from the city of Salt Lake City.
That's correct. Yes.
So talk to us about what the smart cities movement means to Salt Lake City.
You know, I have to tell you, after listening to all of the people here, we can all be smarter. Like, I just am so inspired by everyone that we've heard today that it's like, oh, we need to be doing more and all of it. But I think the movement really is about using technology in the ways that we now have technology to look at problems and fix those problems, right? I think you need the data and then the ability to fix them. So I think that's what the movement means, and it's just about getting it done and doing it.
The intersection between the society, the individual, the environment. You can't. What Dr. Leyla Acaroglu talked about, design. When you design products, when you design something, when you're working, you need to bring different disciplines together, right, and not just think linearly.
Exactly. And one of the things I was thinking about, this sort of off the smart city discussion, but with Dr. Leyla, was that we have this project in Salt Lake City called Project Open, and it's for affordable housing. And one of the things that they did in order to maximize space and minimize cost was put sliding doors on a closet. Because if you open it, then you lose space. Right?
There we go. There's a simple idea.
Right? So I think using that feedback is part of also monitoring that and using, and that's how we become smarter cities, right? I think.
Absolutely. Well, okay, on that note, like for us in the waste collection industry and recycling, it's about designing for the enclosures, designing for the trucks, right? So it really is designing around the systems that we need. To have a city be livable. So can you tell us about one of the, besides this initiative that you're excited about, another initiative that you may want people to know about your city?
Well, right now, we did, earlier this year, Salt Lake City and the University of Utah received a grant from the federal government for $17.5 million to start doing, being a test bed for 5G. Technology. So that is excellent, and we're really excited about it. It was New York City and Salt Lake City that were able, I mean, to be fair, I didn't do anything to get that, so thank you, the University of Utah, and everyone who, I had to actually text somebody and be like, I don't understand 5G, so can you explain that to me so I can talk about it?
This will be the perfect opportunity to learn and
connect people more.
Yeah, so it will be what the university and the group that's doing it's called Powder, and it's the platform for open wireless research, something along those lines, is a livable lab. And so we're a living lab in the city. It's starting at the University of Utah, down to downtown, and about, I think it'll encompass roughly 10 miles of kind of being a living lab to test this 5G technology.
And will that be available to residents to be a part of the test if they want to participate?
I believe it will be an open resource for residents, yes. Like I said, I'm sort of learning about this as we go as well. So
well, we'll look forward to hearing more.
Thank you.
Thank you, City Councilor Amy Fowler from
Such
Salt
a
Lake
pleasure.
City.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being
Thank you
here.
for this opportunity.
Thank you for your
so
partnership.
much.